then I'll end up back on Zoom again, setting up a meeting for Facebook Live. Which takes there we should be. Yes, the webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. We're there. All right. Hello, I'm Diana Boskma. I'm in the UK. I'm an insight coach, mental fitness coach, and relationship coach. I do this work because I love people. I want to help them improve their lives in various ways. Today, I'm talking with Nicholas Selway. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh man, name's Nicholas. I've been in the coaching industry for almost 8 months now, and it's been quite the journey. Prior to this, I was in nonprofit leadership, youth development, education, music. Had quite the journey that's landed me in this spot, and it's great to be here. You know, every minute's led to this moment, and this moment is the first moment of the rest of my life, and I'm just happy to be here.
What got you into coaching?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So prior to this, I was a camp director for a church, and I had like these big, huge ambitions to just, you know, change everything and fix some problems that we were having. And we were on track to do it. It was going amazing, built a really powerful team, did some amazing things. And then this pandemic hit, you know, and we started going to shutdown, and me being a like suffering from anxiety and being really interested in I was researching COVID-19 like chronically, like every morning I would like hit the refresh button, see what was happening, see what was going on. And back in February, end of February, beginning of March, I was like, this is going to be really problematic, you know. This is not going to go away anytime soon. And I was like definitely on like way on the side of caution. And as time went on, you know, I got more and more anxious. I saw like the end coming. I was like, we're going to have to like make some significant changes. We're going to have to lay off our staff. We're going to do all these things. And just to survive. And I went into like full survival mode. And we ended up closing down like before summer back in June. And I remember sort of sitting in my house and in my room, just like completely alone. And I was like feeling very, very, very weird. And I realized that, you know, for the past 5 years of my career, I was working so hard. I was putting so much time, energy, and effort into creating like what I defined as like success. The workaholic. And while I was doing it, I felt good every time I had a success. That was like my source of happiness. And I realized that I held the belief that success will make me happy. And in doing that, making that my core belief system, the consequences of that was that I wasn't valuing the people in my life. You know, I sat and I had a really profound realization that I had not been the best son, I had not been a good friend, I had not been a good brother. I just got out of a relationship, and part of that was because I had not been a good boyfriend, because I was like this workaholic, you know, and I was just so focused on work. And I like looked at myself honestly for the first time, and I was like, you know, something needs to change. Like, what are my values? What are my beliefs? And how can I sort of align my life in a way that works? And something that I had done, that I had brought to my previous job, was like an intentional person to develop a team. And part of that was coaching. We believed heavily in the pyramid of learning. 70% by doing, 20% is by coaching, and 10% is like formal learning, like in a classroom setting or something. Theoretical learnings. And so I experienced coaching for the first time at the beginning of 2020, and I saw what it could do to a team. And I looked at myself and I was like, I value people. Like, not being a good any of these things, just being a good boss is not, that's not good enough. How can I
Yeah.
gift more to people? How
Yeah.
can I make development my mission? And coaching was like a natural step. Me and my current business partner, we were working at the camp together, and we decided to pull the trigger, to dive in and to make this our full-time gig. And it
Cool.
has been the most rewarding decision that I've ever made.
Yeah, I can imagine. Coaching is awesome to do. So, what has been your most profound experience with coaching for yourself? You kind of touched on that a bit already, but have you had any more?
Yeah,
Or
so
anything really amazing?
lots, yes. I mean, I think that anytime that I walk away from a powerful coaching session, and I've been very lucky, lots of really powerful coaches, it's been, just like a reflection of, who I am in that moment.
Yeah.
And, there was a time when I would look in the mirror and I didn't love who I saw, and I didn't really understand. I thought I understood what love was. I loved my job. I loved my girlfriend. I loved the people in my life, like I had that idea, and I look in the mirror and I didn't feel that love. And there was a coaching experience where I had to really, it was just sort of shared with me, like, you are enough, like, you're deserving. And I had to like digest that truth. And I came to this insight that, fear and love are like two opposites of the same coin. And what I had experienced in the past, and why I didn't have love for myself, was that I was living a life of fear. I was with a partner because I was afraid of being alone. I loved my job because I was afraid of being homeless. I was doing all these things, and it wasn't like to pursue joy and happiness. It was because I was trying to soothe all of these fears that I had. And I came to this realization that I'm just incredibly afraid and scared. And with that came like this huge sense of loneliness. And my takeaway from that was this sort of kindling, this spark to a relationship with myself. And the really powerful moment that transformed my life is, I was like hanging out with friends. I had like, I don't know, 4 coaching sessions in the previous week where we talked about fear and love and stuff like that. And I looked in the mirror and I felt love for the first time. And I like sort of just stared at myself for 5 minutes in the bathroom, and I like started crying because I was having this profound moment. And I walked out and I had realized the whole world looked differently. Like I no longer need validation, or love isn't an external thing that comes to me. It's something that comes from within me, and I spread it out. And since then, all of my relationships have significantly improved. I love much more generously, and I create this intentional community where love is just in the space. It's not like directed or finite or limited in any way, shape, or form. It's just prevalent.
And the ripple effect.
Yes.
And that's a very big thing, the ripple effect. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it at work with, when you get coached, the people around you indirectly get coached, because whatever you're healing yourself has an effect on them as well. It's been fascinating for me, this whole journey.
Yeah.
So what has been the most profound experience you've had with a client with coaching?
That's a really good question. I've had a couple. I've had I've had some that I think will stay with me just forever.
Those are the ones I'm talking about.
It's funny. When I bring on new clients after like connecting with them and stuff, you know, they'll often like, man, you have such a good memory. Like you just remember everything. I'm like, these experiences are so powerful. Like I'm not forgetting any of it. It's like I'm here in the moment and it's locked. So, you know, like that's a good thing. And also like word of caution, like I want to remember it. But one thing that was just really, I guess, yeah, profound. One of my clients was having a challenge. And I coach on relationships. It's like not just like, you know, interpersonal relationships, but like relationships with work, relationships with your habits, relationships with yourself. The universe it's out there, and where we are in relation to it, I mean, is, you know, everything. And
everything's a relationship because there's always someone involved.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, this person was having doubt and fear in regards to work, and we started our coaching session. We set our intention, and the the question, it was doubt. It was self-doubt in what they were doing when they were doing it. And we boiled it down. We came to like this, you know, who are you question, like who are you really? And they answered, you know, like, oh, like I'm this, I'm that, you know. They gave me a bunch of nouns, and feeling, I don't know, inspired in the moment. And I was like, no, that's, you answered the question, you know, what you are. I'm asking who you are. And like, okay, let's go deeper. And they gave me, like, you know, I'm always learning, I'm always doing this, I'm, you know, I've learned this, like this is where I am in life. I'm like, no, that's where you are. I'm asking who you are. And they just got frustrated, and I didn't blame them, because I was being a stickler on this one. And they just sort of left with like, you know what, like I don't know who I am. And they sat with that for a minute. We just stared at each other, and my client just started breaking down in tears. They were living this whole life that they thought they knew what it was, and deep down at the core they didn't. And I asked, you know, who is it that you want to be? You know, and they started sharing these verbs of like what is it they want to do, how it is they want to live, what they want their being to be. You know, I want to be happiness, I want these things. And when we return to work, the idea of work, the relationship with work, and I asked, what are the gifts and opportunities in this challenge, you know? And it was just such a profound shift. It went from, you know, being afraid of not being good enough, and possibly being terminated, and giving into these judgments, and overvaluing what other people think, and just all this stuff, just stifling energies. And they walked out of that just like, you know, work isn't going to change who I am.
Nope.
Nothing changes who I am. I no longer have to carry that burden of like other people's judgments. And their relationship with work changed because of their relationship with themselves, or how they saw themselves. And that happened within the span of an hour. And that was that. And that's just like that still blows my mind. I'm like, I can't ever like shake that or get over that, you know, coaching creates a space for, I mean, just like fundamental shifts in how we perceive our reality in a way that empowers us and grants us love, and builds community. And like you said, like when you get coached, your entire community, whoever you interact with, benefits, because your very sense of being, it goes from like being completely externally based and like worried and focused and mind reading and judgmental and afraid and all these things, goes to being just, you know, I'm here in this moment, I'm
Yep.
present, and I have love, and that
Yep.
the world needs more love.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just, I find it fascinating, the effects of coaching on, well, I just look at my own family. It's having an effect on my kids when I get coached. It's just fascinating. It's one of those things that I never expected when I started out with coaching. And now I see the effect it has on the whole family. It's just, and then people around me as well, because of course, friends notice the difference and talk with me about it. And so, yeah, it's been really interesting.
That's awesome.
So, what is the most interesting thing you have learned from a client? Because they are your mirrors after all.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the most powerful thing is, and I believe this, I like intellectually, philosophically in my mind, I hold this belief, trying to really integrate it. But I think it's, no matter what the circumstance is, no matter how dire or serious, pleasant or uncomfortable, and there are gifts and opportunities to be found. That's actually, when I coach my clients, that's a question that I often ask, is like, what gifts and opportunities do you currently see in this circumstance? And there's never an answer. There's always something. There's a silver lining. And speaking with other like incredibly powerful coaches and them sharing their coaching stories and stuff like that, I mean, there are serious situations. And myself also, like, I was very fortunate. I've gone through like illnesses and whatnot in my life, and I see, like, looking back on it, I see the gifts and opportunities now. But to be able to live in the moment,
time.
yeah, it'll take time. But I mean, to be able to live in the moment and see it like as it's happening in real time, to like let go of your fears, to let go of your prejudices, your judgments, and just be in the moment. Like that, all that stuff comes from the future and in our mind and stuff like that, our saboteurs. But just to be in the moment and just to like navigate life with like such a clarity and acceptance, like that's always the opportunity. And that peace, I've found through my clients that peace is always present. And that's just pure wisdom on their end.
No, I get that. Is there anything else that you find worth mentioning or want to share, or whatever?
Man, everything. I don't know. I mean, so much.
We'll still be here tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if there's, we're in the States, we're going back in lockdown, and I anticipate that we're in for a pretty rough and grim holiday season. And loneliness is something that I've battled in the past, and still experience from time to time. But I think, the community that I've been exposed to by pursuing coaching, I've really learned that, the loneliness that we feel is I mean, it's a product of like this voice in the back of our head that's like saying that we're unworthy and undeserving of love and connection. And I don't know, I guess I just want to like express that there are amazing people all over the world, whether it's Russia or England, where you are, or South America. I mean, like I've met people all around the world. Like we're socially distancing right now, and through this time, I've experienced my network and connection grow exponentially, and that's because of this community. This community is awesome. We're here, we're present, and I really think that most coaches never want to see a person experience loneliness, you know, like when we're a coach, and I can't speak for you or anything, but I know for me, like I want my clients to be heard, understood, and to feel like the presence that I bring. Like I am present in this moment with you. You are not alone. You know, we're going through this.
Yep.
And so
That's how I feel as well.
Yeah, that's my message, I guess, to the world, that we're not alone. We just have to
reach out.
Yeah, and that takes courage. That takes effort. That takes energy.
It does.
But it is. I mean, you know, the lifeline is out there. Like we're casting it out every day. We make a connection. You know, that's just lots of love out there for sure.
There definitely is. It's one of the things that I really learned through the coaching community. This community has shown me that there's lots of friendship, lots of love, just lots of connection. It's all really been good. Getting to know lots of good coaches has been amazing.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, you know, you and I are an example of that. I mean, if I were, you know, it's weird to say this, but I mean, one of the gifts that COVID-19 has brought is that I have you in my life, because I wouldn't have met you, you know, if it wasn't the pandemic. And
that's with all of you.
That's a pretty beautiful. I mean, like it is. It's a pretty beautiful thing to be able to focus on this.
Yes, there's a lot of silver lining to COVID, for me at least, because for me this year has been my best year ever. I can't say anything different. Despite the fact that I've not left my home much, it's been a really amazing year. Yes. So shall we end on that note?
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you very much for being here, because it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Love you, Diana. Thank you so much. Love all your viewers. Love all your listeners. I love everybody. So sending those vibes out.
All right. Thank you very much.